I've said it before, and I'll say it again. Even as the father of RPGs, D&D is a fantastic tabletop role-playing game. It has gone through 6 different iterations, and has the basic core classes that everything can fall into, with subclasses that range far and wide for all of them. Hello adventurers, and thank you for joining me on Weaver's Wonderful World. In this episode of D&D Discussions, we'll be going over the intelligent, miraculous, wise, and daring wizard class. Wizards are masters of the arcane. They have more knowledge than just about any other, spending their lives in colleges and places of learning, or obtaining great arcane abilities. And we will be going over what the wizard can do within D&D. Wizards are enigmatic beings that vary in form and function. They seek to master the mysteries of the arcane, some to become gods and shape reality itself, others to pursue knowledge and learning. While many spells require but a word, a small hand gesture, and more often than not, a bit of exotic materials, this barely scratches the surface, and gives small glimpses into the expertise attained by years of apprenticeships under masters. Warriors have a saying, live by the sword, die by the sword. Wizards have a similar saying, live by your spells, die by your spells. A wizard's magic is everything. All others are secondary. Now that isn't to say if the player makes a wizard, they have to play strictly like this. But wizards do grow by learning new spells, experimenting, and creating their own, growing in experience and arcane power. This knowledge can also be learned through other wizards, ancient tomes, inscriptions and ruins, or ancient creatures steeped in magic, which are generally fey in origin. The life of a wizard is rarely mundane. Heck, the closest they get to an ordinary life is as a sage, working as a lecturer in a college or library and teaching others the secrets of the multiverse. A lot of wizards will sell their services as diviners, military officials, criminals, or conquerors. However, the lure of knowledge is strong for any wizard out there. Even the most unadventurous wizard hears the call to obtain more knowledge, bringing them out of the safety of their libraries and laboratories, and brave the wild, searching through crumbling ruins and lost cities. Most wizards come to the conclusion that the secret of magic lies in forgotten hands, of their ancient counterparts that have been lost for ages, that discovering this lost magic could grant them access to a path of power, greater than any available in the present. The backstory of a wizard is an important one. There has to be one extraordinary event to push the player's character onto this path. How did they come into contact with magic? How did they discover an aptitude for the arcane? Did they have an affinity for it, almost like sorcerers? Or did they study and practice incessantly? Did a magical creature or an ancient tome teach them magic? And what drew them out of their hovels, libraries, and places of learning to adventure into the world? Did tasting magic leave them hungry for more? Did they discover or receive word of a secret repository of knowledge that has yet to be plundered by others of the arcane? Or perhaps they want to test their mantle against the forces of the wild. Regardless, a wizard should have a driving motivation for their adventures. Wizards start out with a 1d6 hit die per level, while their hit points at first level are 6 plus their constitutional modifier, and they gain 1d6 plus their constitutional modifier per level, or if hit points are fixed, 4 plus constitutional modifier. Wizards also have no proficiency with armor, but they do with simple weapons, such as daggers, darts, slings, quarterstaffs, and light crossbows. They as well have no proficiencies with tools. This will more likely come with racial traits and crafting abilities. A wizard's saving throws are in intelligence and wisdom, so be sure to up those two if that's what you want to focus on. The player can then choose 2 skills from a list. As a wizard, I would definitely suggest Arcana and History for those skills, but Investigation couldn't hurt either, since a motivation for wandering the world could be to investigate ancient ruins. The equipment for a wizard really isn't important and can be chosen or not going forward, but what a wizard does require is a spellbook, for without it, a wizard cannot memorize their spells, and is lost to their magic until they obtain and fill out a new one. As a student of magic, that spellbook shows the first glimmer of their true potential with arcane forces. This spellbook contains 6 first level spells of the player's choosing. First level grants the wizard access to 3 cantrips from the list of wizard cantrip spells. They will learn up to 5 at 10th level. A cantrip, for anyone who is unaware, is free magic. It doesn't cost a slot to perform. The wizard has access to apply every cantrip in their spellbook, but can only memorize 5 at a time when they reach 10th level. Spellcasting and preparations are important to understand. The wizard's table in the player's handbook reveals how many slots a wizard has per level. Once a spell of that level is cast, that slot is used. Once all slots are expended, the wizard can no longer cast spells of first level or higher, and will have to fall back on their cantrips. The wizard will also have to memorize the spells they wish to cast. The spells memorized can be swapped out on every long rest, if the wizard has their spellbook to memorize from. The number of spells the wizard can memorize on a long rest is their intelligence modifier plus the wizard's level with a minimum of 1. They cannot memorize spells at a higher level than that which they have access to. An example of this would be that the wizard cannot memorize a 6th level spell if they do not have at least one 6th level slot. The wizard's spellcasting ability lies on their intelligence modifier, using this when a spell refers to their casting ability. In the same right, when a spell requires a saving throw for their opponent, the intelligence modifier is used to set the DC for the saving throw. Add 8 plus the level's proficiency bonus plus their intelligence modifier. The wizard's attack modifier is their proficiency bonus plus their intelligence modifier. The wizard as well can cast spells using rituals, but only spells with the ritual tag can be cast in this manner, and is written into their spellbook. Casting a ritual spell is generally 10 minutes plus the spell's level. However, the GM can change this if they please. Wizards can use a spellcasting focus such as a wand, crystal, staff, or other arcane focus to cast their spells. This allows them the ability to not carry around materials that are listed with the spells in order to cast them. However, arcane focuses have their limits. If the spell requires gold or a monetary value, that spell cannot be cast with the focus. Arcane Recovery allows the wizard to regain some of their expended spell slots by studying their spellbook. Once per day during a short rest, the wizard can recover any number of spell slots below 6th level equal to half their wizard level rounded up. For instance, a 5th level wizard can recover 3 spell slots, such as 3 1st level spells or 1 2nd level spell and 1 1st level spell. When the wizard reaches 2nd level, they can choose an arcane tradition. In other words, they can choose a school of magic to focus on, of which there are currently 13. At the time of this release, Order of Scribes is in Unearthed Arcana. The choice of school grants the wizard features at 2nd, 6th, 10th, and 14th levels. Ability score improvements or extra feats can be obtained at 4th, 8th, 12th, 16th, and 19th level. Spell level is obtained at 18th level. This effectively turns one 1st and 2nd level spell at their base levels into cantrips, but they can still be cast at higher levels, with slots expending as normal at that point. The wizard is my second favorite D&D class. It has so many avenues to its magical capabilities, even with some of its limits on how many spells they can cast between long rests. But I think that's a good limiter, and it keeps the class from being overpowered. Now, I know some may say the sorcerer is better because it has innate magical abilities, and the boosts with sorcerer points are nice. But as a harder class to play, wizard does stand out as a great caster. But that's just my opinion. So that's it for the wizard class, but it's not the end of the discussion. So leave a comment below and let me know what your thoughts are on the wizard class. And join me in the next 2-part episode of D&D Discussions, where I go over the wizard subclasses or schools of magic. Thank you for joining me on Weaver's Wonderful World. As always, I'm your host, Ginsu Weaver. And remember, breakfast is the most important meal of the day. Donuts are the best breakfast food, so eat up, stay healthy, and I'll catch you in the next rendition of D&D Discussions. I can't believe I made it through one episode without being sent. Are you kidding me? You wait till... Who are you and why the